Once upon a time, the sound of a roaring engine wasn't just noise, it was a statement. A crackling exhaust on a Lamborghini, or the high-pitched scream of a V10 Formula One car, was music to the ears of car lovers around the world. The growl of a V8 at a stoplight, the angry rasp of a tuned inline 4, or the thunderous howl of a naturally aspirated V12, they all told a story. These weren't just sounds, they were expressions of identity, power, and passion. But something is changing. With the rapid rise of electric vehicles, we're entering an era where silence is the new soundtrack. The evolution of exhaust sounds tells the story of how automotive culture has changed over time, from the raw roars of the past to the futuristic hums of electric innovation. But before we dive in, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on our upcoming videos. Now let's get started. Fire, fury, and the birth of the roar. In the earliest days of internal combustion, engines were crude, inefficient, and loud. But as technology improved, those mechanical sounds began to shape brand identities. Think of the deep-chested growl of a Ford Mustang GT, or the spine-tingling shriek of a Ferrari 458 at 9,000 RPM. These weren't random noises, they were finely tuned experiences. Manufacturers realized that sound mattered just as much as speed. The symphony from the tailpipes became a signature of performance. The exhaust wasn't just a functional piece, it was an instrument. Engineers worked tirelessly to craft sound profiles that stirred emotion. Mufflers, resonators, and exhaust manifolds were designed not just for performance, but for drama. The goal? To make your heart race before the wheels even turned. The golden era of engine noise. From the 1960s to the early 2000s, automotive enthusiasts witnessed the golden era of exhaust sound. This was a time when fuel economy took a back seat and engines roared unapologetically. Each car had its own distinct voice. The V12 of a Lamborghini Diablo had a raw, metallic scream that echoed off canyon walls. The Subaru WRX with its boxer engine had a thumping, offbeat burble. The Mercedes-AMG V8 was a thunderstorm in motion, while the Porsche Flat 6 offered a high-pitched rasp that cut through the air like a blade. Even JDM legends like the Nissan Skyline GT-R R34 or the Mazda RX-7 became icons not just because of their speed, but because of their unique exhaust notes. Car culture revolved around the sound of the street. Meets, rallies, and midnight cruises were filled with the chorus of tuned machines. The louder, the better. For many, modifying the exhaust was the first upgrade because the sound was the soul of the car. Regulations, and the start of silence. As emissions regulations tightened, the golden roar began to fade. Governments around the world began to enforce stricter noise limits and catalytic converter requirements. Performance vehicles had to find new ways to comply. This led to a wave of innovation. Valved exhaust systems emerged, giving drivers the ability to toggle between quiet and loud modes. Active sound design was born using technology to preserve the experience of a roaring engine while still meeting legal requirements. But even with these solutions, the volume knob of performance had been turned down. The soul-stirring screams of naturally aspirated engines were slowly replaced by turbocharged whooshes and muted growls. The power was still there, but the personality was fading. Enter the electric revolution. Then came the electric wave, and with it, a whole new silence. Electric vehicles changed everything. No pistons, no explosions, no combustion. Just quiet torque and linear acceleration. While thrilling in its own right, the instant but silent nature of EVs left car enthusiasts with a strange feeling. Where's the drama? High-performance EVs like the Tesla Model S Plaid or the Rimac Nevera can out-accelerate almost anything on the road. They're insanely fast, but they don't sound fast. There's no rumble, no scream, no crescendo of gears, just a digital whoosh and a blur. This sudden shift left a void. A generation raised on Fast and Furious and Nürburgring battles now had to adjust to a new kind of performance. It was like watching a movie, with the sound turned off, visually stunning, but emotionally distant. Artificial exhaust, a new kind of theater. Manufacturers weren't going to let EVs stay quiet forever. In an effort to bring some emotion back, brands started experimenting with synthetic engine sounds. BMW's M division, for example, introduced artificial sounds in their EVs that pump through the speakers inside the cabin. Porsche's Taycan features a futuristic engine note that's more sci-fi than Supercar, but undeniably cool. Dodge, true to form, is developing a Fretsonic chambered exhaust for its electric Charger Daytona, a sound system designed to make EVs as loud and aggressive as their gas-powered ancestors. Even brands like Lamborghini and Ferrari are exploring sound synthesis. They know sound is tied deeply to emotion and identity, and while the engines may be gone, the emotion can't be. Why sound still matters. Why are manufacturers so desperate to bring back the roar, even if it's fake? Because sound is storytelling. It's the difference between feeling connected to a car and just driving it. The sound of a car triggers nostalgia. It communicates aggression, elegance, rebellion, or refinement. It's a language. And without it, something feels missing. Think of how movies use soundtracks to enhance emotion. Cars have always done the same with their own symphonies. As we move to silent drivetrains, automakers are trying to create a new kind of soundtrack, one that's synthetic but still stirring. Tuners and the aftermarket fight back. In the car enthusiast world, silence is the enemy. That's why the aftermarket scene continues to push the limits, even as laws tighten. Custom exhaust systems, titanium pipes, and even illegal decats are still wildly popular among purists. There's a reason why YouTube is flooded with cold start compilations and rev battles. People crave the auditory rush. But even the tuner community is evolving. Electric swaps are becoming more common in classics and muscle cars. And with that comes a new wave of custom sound engineering, where builders add digital exhaust systems, complete with speakers and audio processors, to simulate the rumble of combustion engines. The desire for sound is eternal. It's just finding new ways to survive. The sound of tomorrow. What will the future of exhaust sound like? That depends on who you ask. Some say true silence is the ultimate luxury. A world where the roads are filled with whisper-quiet machines, gliding along effortlessly. Others believe we'll enter an age of customizable sound profiles, where you can select your car's exhaust note from a menu. V8 muscle, F1 screamer, spaceship hum, or silent stealth. There's also a growing movement to preserve the legends. Enthusiasts are holding on to their naturally aspirated classics like prized relics. V12 Ferraris, manual Porsches, and roaring American V8s are already skyrocketing. In value not just because of rarity, but because of sound. Emotional performance in a silent world. Ultimately, this transition isn't just about engines, it's about emotion. Driving has always been about more than just getting from A to B. It's about how you feel along the way. The roar of an engine connects you to the machine. It builds anticipation. It creates a soundtrack for every journey. Electric cars might be faster, cleaner, and more efficient, but they lack that primal mechanical chorus. And yet there's a strange beauty in silence too. EVs offer a futuristic calmness, a new way to experience speed, one that's smooth, surgical, and sophisticated. The question is, can emotion exist without noise? Where we go from here? We're standing at a crossroads between tradition and innovation. One side is roaring nostalgia, the other is silent speed. And the automotive world is trying to find a bridge between them. Whether it's through artificial sound, hybrid systems, or entirely new forms of musical engineering, one thing is certain: we're not done chasing that feeling. The exhaust may evolve, the roar may change, but the emotion, that's forever. Final drive. The evolution of exhaust sounds reflects more than just changes in technology. It reflects a shift in culture, identity, and emotion. From the growling muscle cars of the 70s to the synthetic pulses of tomorrow, each phase has its own soul. As we drive into a future filled with electric silence, we carry the echoes of roaring legends with us. Whether you love the quiet precision of EVs or the wild, unfiltered scream of a combustion engine, one thing unites us all: the love of the drive. Which sound do you prefer, the mechanical roar of a V10 or the futuristic hum of a Tesla? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this video struck a chord with your automotive soul, hit that like button. Subscribe for more deep dives into car culture, and share this with fellow gearheads who refuse to let the roar die.